What's going on, world? Man. It's your boy at Big Game James _36 on this somber Monday. Moral victory Monday, if you will, I guess, even though we had a victory. But it's not the victory that we all felt we should be having. If you're an FSU fan, if you're an FSU hater or a rival, you probably find some kind of sick, sadistic humor or vibe in this. But just remember, if this could happen to Florida State, well, it can't happen to you because you'll never be in this position. But if you were in this position, if this could happen easily to Florida State, it could happen to you. I'm not even going to bury the lead. The reality of the situation is the entire show will be about FSU missing the playoffs. But before we get into that, I want to just say this is Big Games BS brought to you by I'm a part of their media group, brought to you by alphamilejacks.com. I don't even know what to tell you. It's okay to. This is not a hormonal thing if you're upset about this one. This is clearly just some fuck shit. And you should be upset. You should absolutely be upset and in distress. If you are somehow finding your way, finding some kind of sick pleasure out of this, fuck you. Go get your hormone levels checked. You got a lot of bitching. How about that? Go to alphamilejacks.com. You do not have to be a man. You can be a woman, be whoever, 24-hour doc, good people. Get yourself hooked up. Now, even though I am in the cigar lounge, I have no idea where our cutters are. So I had a Victory cigar, aging room, Nicaragua, pretty good stick. Don't mind me. It's never too early to smoke and drink Bland's. So for this kind of day, if you got something, cheers, eh? If you got coffee, I needed something a little stronger than coffee. And something that'll make me feel better. But if we get to this thing over 100 people in there, and like we always talk about, we will have the phone. We will try to do the phone lines. Hopefully it works this time. We will drop the number in the members area. So members will be able to call. If you're not a member, please consider the $3.99. Become a member, the lowest member level, all kinds of different member levels. Oh, yeah, by the way, we're inside the world's greatest cigar lounge, Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. All right. I see why men in a different era, I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm not an addict. I don't have one of those. I'm not one of those people who gets addicted to shit. So that's why I say things like a little bump ain't gonna never hurt nobody, because a bump really ain't ever messed with me. But like the tobacco and the vibe of it's more of it's relaxing. The stronger the liquor, the more burn it has. So the burn is literally like, you know how when you put alcohol on a cut, it like you can feel the sting that lets you know it's working. The alcohol just is like it's soothing the stitches of your pain. But I don't know where to start. Oh, before we get into that, look, I did promise a little bit of positivity. I was gonna show, and I'll do another show where I'll show ESPN. You fucktards, you motherfuckers use my shit. Y'all got my kid, my nephew Jack, and y'all did all these feel good stories on Florida State for you to pull this shit. It was such a great story, man. I'm all in the fucking video. Like, I'm definitely like, you know how Suge Knight said, if you want to go to a place where the producer ain't all up in the video. I was all up in the shit. They didn't mention my name motherfucking once. Like, who the fuck is the big ass motherfucker escorting them everywhere? Like, they could have mentioned like former players. I should have known the fuckery was in when this, you know what? This is how we're going to start it off. I should have known the fuckery was in when ESPN pulled that shit on College Football Game Day. Now, I did not do this for accolades or anything on myself. But goddamn, it could have made the story a little bit more good. Connected, full circle. But you left me out. You left the FSU former connection player out, just like you fucking left Florida State out of the college football playoff. And yes, it was the college football committee. We're going to get to that. But all of the shit that they've been talking the entire fucking season is what led up to this shit. Whether you guys want to believe it or not, you're fucking manipulated every goddamn day by something. Whatever you listen to literally provides you the energy, the framework of what your mental capacity is. That's why I always say I can tell who you listen to based upon your responses in life on the football field. You've been saying, you, the fans, have been literally regurgitating it. And actually, now that I think about it, some of y'all, if you have not, now it's not my greenies, but some of you guys are going to be whites that are going to be coming on here, and you won't even know what what white means versus greenies mean, because you don't listen to this shit. You're coming here for some anarchy because you want to feel better about something or you want to be more pissed off. And I don't know which one you're going to leave with. But you've been complaining about bullshit that you've been fed by ESPN all fucking year, and now you're surprised that ESPN did the shit when you've been predicting the shit your goddamn self. Our offense isn't good enough. You were saying our offense wasn't good enough when we had Jay Trav. And I've been showing you on goddamn film how good we are. I've been showing you based upon the stats and the comparisons how good we are. But now you got the nerve to be mad? Where the fuck was you at weeks ago? What was the unity then? I'm mad because it's fucking subjective over an objective. Football is supposed to be pure and purely objective. What we did was we created this system and went right back to what we fucking had before. But you don't remember how national championships were crowned after the season. Guys didn't play each other. It'd be, like when Michigan has a shared national champion, they had 2 losses. It's aggravating because when people are trying to, like, we could have really probably, if we wouldn't fall for this shit, hook, line, and sinker, because again, as a fan base, we were talking about bullshit. Remember the beginning of the season? You know who you guys wanted to fire? The guy who literally put us in a position so that we can be in the college football playoff. Everybody wanted to fire Adam Fuller. It was literally one show or one person, 2 people, one family, I will say, that was literally telling you Adam Fuller is a really good fucking coach. Go back and watch it. That was the Colemans. Hell, I wasn't even the first one. It was Trey was the first one that jumped on Adam Fuller and said that this is a good guy. And he's a kid. But now we're here and we are right. There's a righteous anger in it. But God damn it, we spoke this shit into existence as a fan base, not appreciating what the fuck we were seeing then. And I'd be damned if I don't let us appreciate it now. 14-0 is still better than 13-0. 14-0 is still better than 13-1. A bowl game is a fucking reward for a good season. And the New Year's Six game is one of the best ones that you can get into. And we have a great opponent, and we have a great fucking opportunity to go out there regardless of if people opt out or not. We, as a fan base, and I'm speaking to we as Florida State, not French, this is not, if you ain't a Florida State fan, this BS show is not about you. This BS show is about Florida State not being where they're rightfully supposed to be at. But that doesn't mean we get to take off and be bitches because we didn't get what the fuck we want. That's what babies do. That's what losers do. We go and we are winners. We go out there and take advantage and beat the fuck out of one of the top SEC teams, a team that won 29 straight games up until Alabama lost. We take it out on the opponent. We don't take, like, it's, oh, all right. Let me get back to the positivity, Miles. We're going to get back to this shit, but I got to talk about my book. I was told by Christy, who helps me run my nonprofit, that I only got 1 more week to raise the funds up for this goddamn toys for toy drive for Big Game. We're trying to get 300 gifts for 30 kids between the Tallahassee and Jacksonville areas. I have no fucking idea where we're at. I just got off the plane. I just know if you want to go buy the gift personally, go to jamescolemangivesback.com. There's a QR code right here on the show, like that you can go put while you're watching the show. Go see the Amazon wish list. You can go to MFTK Foundation mftk36.com if you would. If you want to do PayPal, you want to donate money, mftk36 on Cash App, mftkfoundation@gmail.com for PayPal, all that shit. I'll just say we're halfway. I don't know. But bottom line is the rest of this week, I'm going to be pushing this for the positivity to help the kids out. So let's do that shit. But back to the stuff at hand. 4 times in Florida State's history, we've been in this position. No, 4 times we were 12 and no, 13 and 0, I believe. It's 99, 2013, and 2014. So this is our 4th time. It's something that should not have ever happened. And I'm going to tell you, before I go into what Florida State should do and what we should do and what we shouldn't do. Again, I know people were asking for us to not play the bowl game. And I know some people suggested that we don't pull the UCF. And I believe we're greater than that. But I did learn today that the AP and the coaches poll do not have to accept the results of the college football playoff. If the AP gives us a national championship, I'm taking that shit and I'm bragging about it. If the coaches poll gives us a national championship, I'm taking that shit and I'm bragging about it. I will not create my own version of it. I'm not going to pull a UCF and put up a banner, but if reputable entities recognize it, and this is what it should be. So now I'm going to actually officially start my rant. Put it on Twitter the other day. AD Alford liked it. Mike Alford liked it because Mike is a real one. A coach, I've never as a player, as a coach, as a fan, as a man. And as I'm getting into this, I want people to realize sports is one of the first things we learn in sports management courses is that sports is a microcosm of society. And in this show, and the people who follow me, to follow Sporadics and all this stuff, I like to think of us as a tight-knit community where we learn and we exchange ideas. I learn about other cultures because I ask questions. I learn there's a lot more similarities. But right now, if you're a Florida State fan and you feel like the world was out against you, that ESPN had an agenda against you, but you just kept winning and everybody else in the world told you that you were crazy, including people in your own fan base that said, why would ESPN have an agenda against you? You ever felt like that? And I'm going to tell you, this is what it feels like. Like what you're feeling right now about a sport is what other minorities feel like every day. You feel like somebody's out to get you. You feel like you got to be perfect. And when you're perfect, it still doesn't always go your way. And you have to have a straight face. You have to toughen up because everybody's going to tell you, suck it up, buttercup. Stop complaining. The world isn't against you. This isn't against you. That's what you're feeling right now is what other people have said. So now you can have some empathy. And I'm not telling you that you should just be okay with it because I wouldn't tell anybody else. But it is a fucking reality for some people. And you still got to get up every day and do your best, even in that fucking reality. So with that being said, there is an agenda against Florida State. It is clear. It's no longer one of those things where and one of the most aggravating things is when people try to tell you you're crazy and you can fucking see it. That's what's infuriating with this, is that you see it, we know it, we taste it, we smell it. And people will tell you that it's in your head. It's not real. It's all in your head. But you just saw this. They let it out. They let it out. They let it out. So as a person who deals with this stuff, you have every fucking right to be angry. Every right to be mad. But at the same time, you don't have the right to not keep fighting because of the players, because of the people who came in front of you, because of the people who made this right. And what you do is you take that anger and we take concerted steps to make sure that this shit never fucking happens again. See, that's what you do. That's when you want change. You see how it happened to you. You make sure people are aware how it happened to you. You make sure that other people knows that if it can happen to me, it can happen to you. And then from there, we use the fucking process. And then you know what? You know what's gonna? It's not even doing that. It's still not gonna probably work out. But at least, because it doesn't change anything for this situation. But what it can do is change it for the next situation. Because God damn it, we should never be in this position. Because if it's 12 teams, guess what? It's going to be 8 fucking Big Ten teams and SEC teams. And if that's the case, then let us know. But what we have to do is force them to speak the unspoken truths. The problem with America and the problem with the problem with America and the problem with sports, because again, sports is a microcosm of society, is that too often people don't want to speak the unspoken truths. If the unspoken truth is that an SEC team has to be in the college football playoff, then God damn it, that's what should be said in the beginning of the season. Not that make the fucking cowards have to speak their mind. Make the fucking cowards have to come out and say it's going to be 2 times harder for you. Don't let the cowards get away with, oh, well, no, it's all even. It's all facts. It's all out there for people. If you're in a Power 5 conference, you pick a Power 5 conference so that you can have a tougher schedule so that this doesn't happen to you. I get a G5. I understand a G5. I don't understand a Power 5 that has more wins over ranked opponents, that has more wins over opponents over 500 in a conference that has a winning record against all other conferences, in particular the SEC, which they were 6-4. And the SEC's biggest win was over a Louisville team when it came to the ACC matchups. The problem, and we'll get into the who got picked and all the other shit stuff right now, but for this moment, oh damn, we have 107. Let me drop the mixtape, so that we can get this. If people want to call in, we will take call-ins now. The reality of the situation is this: football is a sport in which it is not subjectivity should be taken out of it. It is the objective is to win football games. Period. It's not to, oh my goodness, I'm prettier than you, I'm this. The objective is to win football games. We are taught that if I go out there and I do what I'm supposed to do, I'm where I'm supposed to be at, I win, I'm in. There are rules. We abide by those rules. It's not something where you're given something. It's something where you earn it. You earn it by the game, by playing the game. You earn it by going out there and you won. You didn't just win it in conference. Let's go through the schedule. And let's talk about what people were saying all year. Florida State is not going to go undefeated. Florida State will be lucky to finish the month of September 2-2. You not only dominated your opening SEC opponent, who was a top 5 ranked team at the time, you also went on to beat your rival at their home, on the road, in a hostile environment, and you finished the month of September 4-0. You went on to win every football game, to beat a rival with your backup quarterback, to do something that hasn't been done in 20 years. Do you realize Florida State gave up negative 58 yards of total offense in the fourth quarter in two consecutive fourth quarters. Like, God damn it, we could go out there and have Mr. Magoo at quarterback. Your offense ain't fucking scoring on Florida State. Louisville's offense had a top 20 offense, an offense that was averaging 433 yards a game, averaging 33 points a game. And they walked away with 2 field goals. It's not a quarterback game. It is a team game. Three skills: offense, defense, special teams. It's a game that's beautiful because of that. It's a game that's beautiful because, unlike basketball, which people might like basketball, but basketball, you can have one player truly affect everything. One player could give you a chance, but it is the ultimate team sport. It is beautiful in its violence. And what happens is people who have never gotten a chance to appreciate the violence of this sport and how beautiful it is dictated it. And a coward. And that's the part that really trips me out. I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, but I haven't really had a chance to really talk about it. Wasn't on social media like that this past weekend. I had a fucking lovely weekend. I was hanging out with my best friend Jamila and her awesome husband. And we were kicking it, eating, drinking wine, fucking had oysters for the first time, had steak tartare. I was living my best fucking life. So I apologize if I didn't share in all of the shit with everybody else because I was fucking happy. But I saw it, and I saw everybody's hurt. I saw everybody's anguish. I saw everybody's disdain. And I'm sorry that you had to find out about the world this way. But again, if you don't learn anything from today's show, learn this. Sports is a microcosm of society. And life ain't fucking fair. But that don't mean we don't get to bitch about it. But that also don't mean we get to fucking tuck tail and fucking die and cry in our own and die and drown in our tears. Got to get over it. There's more left on that table to play. That doesn't mean it doesn't sting or stink. And boy, does this sting and sting. Coach Norvell coached these boys up to be fucking amazing and fucking awesome, dude. I gotta take out this thing. You're gonna have to read the comments for me because I'm about to put it on.
With JT, we would have still missed the playoffs. They have building this for weeks. We have to empty the clip. Elite defense is irrelevant.
No. That's a great opinion. Who said that?
That is from Marcus Lee.
And is that $5?
Yes,
appreciate the $5 donation, Marcus, but that's bullshit. I'm gonna tell you why. Georgia just won 2 national championships without elite quarterback play. They won it with elite defense. Defense wins championships, offense fills stands. Washington probably will not win a national championship with an elite offense. In this situation, they set it up for Alabama to get a chance to win with an elite with a better defense than everybody else that's on that's there. I'll say the same thing with Texas. If you're in the community, the numbers listed there. If you want to call in, the show. Since we're over that mark, I will hold true. Unlike the college football committee, I will hold true to what I say. Hopefully we have the Rodecaster. The Bluetooth will be working on that. So hopefully we'll get that. We can get that call and we can hear you clearly if you want to call in. Now, if you call in with fuckery, just be prepared to stand on your fuckery. Be prepared to stand on your fuckery. I have no problem with that. But you just got to be prepared, and you better have a good defense of whatever your statement is. But going back to what I was saying, I'm sorry, mine kind of goes all over the place with this. As a guy who's like, I feel bad for the kids because you're taught the scoreboard matters. You're taught winning matters. You didn't just dominate your it's like you're not saying you're the best fighter in your projects. You went to other people's projects and whooped their ass too. And it came, and then the problem is, here's where the decision had to be made. And this is where the infuriating part is. If they would just say, we have to have an SEC team in. We have to. We've only known that. Then you can respect it a little bit more. But they're not even man enough to tell you that shit, so we have to demand it. It's not enough for somebody to be a coward and just do something. You have to force them to admit the reason why they did it and make them stand on that shit. Because this is what the decision came to, of an undefeated power conference champion versus a team, another conference that has one loss, but lost the head-to-head. They were cowards because they couldn't just invite Bama in and leave Texas out because Texas beat Bama. And they weren't man enough or were man enough because Condoleezza Rice is on that fucking board. Which, again, alone, why the fuck is Condoleezza Rice on that goddamn board? What the fuck does she know about football? Now, if I wanted somebody making maybe some world fucking decisions, like, all right, you can have Condoleezza Rice on that bitch. Like, I wanted to ask questions about the Israel-Palestinian conflict, I fucking maybe ask Condoleezza Rice. But I don't really need to ask Condoleezza Rice about the nuances of a wildcat quarterback scoring your only offensive touchdown. She might not know about that shit. Ain't like her dad was a fucking guru or some shit. Like, there's literally no reason that Condoleezza Rice is on that board. Instead of just saying, you know what, Texas, you're in. You beat Alabama head-to-head. Cool. You'll be the one-loss team in there. Fuck. We don't have an SEC team in here. We got to have both of them. Somebody has to get left out, right? Hold on. Let me see. Hello? Hold on. Make sure that. Hello? What's up? Who this? All right, cool. Hold on. We got Mac on here. We got a caller. Let Mac come in here. Wait. You there?
Yeah, I got him.
All right, go ahead, Mac. What you got on your heart? I can't hear it, Mom. They can probably hear it.
This SEC shit, bro. I don't even know what to say, bro. It's like so disappointing for what all this team did, bro. I don't know, bro. And then you got to stand in the paint and take shit from the team that had the Lysol, the helmets, and shoulder pads 3 weeks ago.
Helmets to the left, shoulder pads to the right. That's what they do at the end of the season. Helmets to the left, shoulder pads. Nobody can hear it. Oh shit, we got all this good shit that Mac just did. Hold on, man. You want to unplug the just unplug your headsets?
Oh, so you can put it through there.
No, I'm saying they can't. Wouldn't Mac come through the speaker now?
No.
Oh, the only way you can hear him is through the headsets.
Yeah.
Hold on, we're trying to make sure people can hear you. And you know what? Fuck it. I'll just play it through the speaker. All right. My bad, man.
They can hear him.
Oh, they can? God damn it. Man, y'all pick and choose what the fuck is going on. God damn it. Oh, just more volume. You good, Mac. But yeah, man, that's the nature. So right now, everybody can fully understand why Florida State wants to get out of the ACC. And I guess, Mac, you just dictated where the conversation is going to go. So I have to roast this old ass Pilgrim, if you don't mind, sir. But I appreciate you calling and taking advantage of it. I think you're the only person that has the balls to do this shit. But I appreciate you. All right, bro. Do we have another donation, Miles?
Yes.
All right, let's read this donation, and then we're gonna listen to this, what the fuck this Pilgrim has to say. Oh.
Why doesn't the FSU admin just come out and declare CFB playoff illegitimate?
Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hello? Yeah. Give me. Actually, yeah. Hold on one second. All right, we got somebody else. What's going on, man? Who is this? Tell the people who this is. All right, we can hear you. Go on. What you got to talk about? It definitely is, man. Definitely is. I'm about to get on this again. I don't even want to call him a Pilgrim because I like Pilgrims, but I'm about to get on this dude Bo or whatever the fuck his name is. So appreciate you calling, bro. And you're right. You have every right to be mad. But the thing is, the only thing we can do is make the next motherfucker pay. That's a tough task with Georgia. But you know what? I don't give a fuck if Georgia only fields 30 teams. That's still fucking Georgia Bulldogs. 30 players. That's still the Georgia Bulldogs. They just got to pay. That's the only thing you can do.
Exactly.
So, but all right, bro.
I got my cousin over here trying to make bets for me. That shit crazy to me. I said, you don't have that same
your cousin
energy.
a Georgia fan?
When we play jobs down there in Gainesville.
Nah, your cousin not a Georgia fan, is he?
Nah, he's a Gator.
Yeah, see, that's that bullshit. Don't tell your cousin that he needs to go to alphamailejacks.com and go get a free consultation, because if you can't bet on your own goddamn team, stop. Like, I don't, you know what I never claimed? I never claimed pussy that my friends got. I didn't get a chance to fuck that girl. And that's what it's like. Tell your cousin, like, it's like you claiming having sex with Beyonce because Jay-Z's your friend. It don't work like that, bro.
Hell no.
It does not work like that. But let me get on this dude. Oh shit, I might be able to might have a special guest. All right, bro. Appreciate you calling in.
Yeah.
What happened?
No, it's working now.
Oh, okay. All right. Can you find the is the Boo Kerrigan? Yeah, it's the I'll show you here when you pull it up.
We got a new member, James Chandler.
What's up, James? Appreciate you becoming the green.
Unknown caller.
Yeah. No, I don't even know if I answered. Oh, we about to get into that. Like, why? He said, why doesn't the FSU speak out about that? I think, right?
Yeah. Why doesn't FSU administration just come out and declare CFB playoffs?
I think it's got to be more than that. But we'll talk about a game plan of what FSU should do. But I need to hear what this motherfucker fixed his dick suckers to say. I apologize if a Churin is watching, but that's your fault, not that one. No, that I think go back. No, that's my guy B-Mac. That's what I'm trying to get on right now. That's Booger. Booger's invited to the only person for ESPN. Danny, fuck you right now, but this right here. So let's see what this person has to say. Do I need to take these you need to take these out?
All right, I got it.
Watch these motherfuckers try to demonetize my shit because I'm using their goddamn clips. Gonna use all my shit for that fucking Jack Coleman shit.
Yeah,
fuck y'all.
Another thing, they don't care about hurting Jack at all.
Yeah, like they be saying they like Jack, especially you, Kirk, and fucking Reese. Fucking bullshit ass artist, man. On God, I swear to God, Kirk. On God, I mean, I might get banned next year. Next year might be the last year we do tailgates. Next year we do everything. Because on right now, the way I feel right now, I see Kirk, I'm slapping the shit out of him.
We're joined by the chair of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, Boo Corrigan. So, Boo, we just saw the reaction from Florida State.
Boo is, again, he's the dude over the selection committee. Every week they've done this show, they have him talk. He is the fucking president of North Carolina State, a proud member of the Atlantic Coast Conference. For those who need more historical historical context, his fucking daddy is the reason why Florida State is in the goddamn ACC. Daddy made the ACC great. Son just fucked it up. Push play.
Defeated, Power 5 champion. Their conference has a winning record against the SEC overall, yet Alabama got the nod over them. And I know you don't go head-to-head, but you do go with the 6 teams and then top three teams ranked off the board. So you got Michigan, Washington, Texas off the board. So in some instance, it came down to Alabama and Florida State. Why did you choose Alabama?
Well, I think in looking at it, and again, that was the decision, was Alabama at 4. Florida State is a different team than they were through the first 11 weeks. Coach Norvell, their players.
Florida State's a different team than they were the first 11 weeks. So right now, based on the committee's logic, and this is the problem, when men don't have logic, it fucks up everything. So let's say J.J. McCarthy's just walking to fucking Starbucks or he's hanging out in his hometown. The motherfucker twists his ankle. Those who don't know, J.J. McCarthy is the starting quarterback for Michigan. Is Michigan the same team now? Do you pull them out of the college football playoffs because the quarterback got hurt? Shit happens. I've seen 2 people blow their Achilles walking to football practice before. Injuries are a part of the sport. So you're going to blow up the entire season because a guy got injured? That's your logic? Where the fuck was that rationale last week when you moved them back to 4th? It's not consistent. My bad. Keep playing what this stupid motherfucker got to say.
Their fans, an incredible season. But as you look at who they are as a team right now, without Jordan Travis, without the offensive dynamic that he brings to it, they are a different team. And the committee voted Alabama 4 and Florida State 5.
There are a number of people in that committee room, Boo, who have football backgrounds. Jim Grove, great coach at Wake Forest.
I didn't realize that. That's
Will
another
Shields,
ACC.
who's a Hall of Fame player. You've got Joe Taylor, great coach. Chris Alt, great coach. When they were debating this, and Booger's been talking about it's okay to win with defense. When the coaches, the football judgment people in the room were debating this, what moved them?
I think it's one of the questions that we do ask is from a coaching standpoint, who do you want to play? Who do you not want to play? And as we go through that, again, looking at where we are today, right? Not where we were 3 weeks ago or, 8 weeks ago. Who do they want to play? Who do they not want to play? And they've got a significant voice in the room. And as we went through that and we went around and around, late last night, came back again this morning to do it again. And, again, we came back with, the top 4 as we did in Florida State at 5.
How many times?
Let me push pause real quick too on a stupid, silly ass coward, motherfucker Benzo. Basically, Boo dropped trowel and grabbed his ankles and said, and spread his cheeks and said, please give me some. Like, Florida, let's just flesh out the logic, right? Florida State's a different team without Jordan Travis. Okay? We're going to erase all the shit because Jay Travis not there. No problem. We're going to raise 2 one-loss teams above them. Okay. You believe Texas has been playing good football. You believe Bama beating Georgia. Okay. So why is Florida State ranked higher than Georgia? Georgia still has Carson Beck. They have just using his argument. Florida State should be the 7th or the 8th ranked team per the logic, but they're the 5th team. They're 1 team away from being in the college football playoff, but they're ahead of the 2-time defending national champs who have won 29 games in a row and have everybody else. So your logic is saying they're not better than 2 one-loss teams who look better. But they're better than the 2-time defending national champs who literally just lost the game to Alabama with, I'd argue, a fluke call that should have been reviewed on a 4th and 3 where you didn't review the catch that was not made. It had that not been done, Georgia kicks the field goal. It's a 10-point swing. The problem isn't with anything outside of the actual logic in which these people going. Miles, we're gonna have to stay a little longer on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to be on to 11:15 minimum. We will have Brian McFadden, CBS analyst, former teammate of mine, one of the better corners that have ever played at Florida State. He will be coming on the show. Can you send me the text message of the StreamYard link? Because I want B-Mac to be seen. He needs to be seen. He probably gonna have one of the clean ass suits on too. But my guy B-Mac will be on the show, and we're going to talk about, I want to hear another expert's fucking opinion. So he'll be on at closer to 11 o'clock for those who want to get on there. If there's any good stuff on there, Mazza, because I got the if anybody wants to still call in, the line is still open. Sorry for the one guy I wanted to hear Boo, but hear what Boo actually had to say, but now I don't really. Just keep that dumb motherfucker's face right on there. That is the guy who was so this is why Florida State fans don't share the same sentiments as SEC conference people and the same sentiments as the Big Ten. Why we want to get out of the conference. Let me tell you what Boo did by not having any testicular fortitude and not being able to stand up for the conference. So what happens is, and what's happened in previous years, there's the New Year's 6-day bowl games. And we'll use the college football playoff as a New Year's 6-day bowl game. And if you really want to understand how bowl games work, there's a great show that I do weekly with Greg McGarity, and we'll probably have a great discussion and dialogue, who's the former athletic director at the University of Georgia and at Florida as well, where we do, but now he's the president of the Gator Bowl. And we talk about how the Gator Bowl select stuff. Got a great game, Clemson versus Kentucky. Listeners to this show, there will be a giveaway to the Gator Bowl. The Gator Bowl game will give away tickets. If we get to 5,000 subs, I will be giving away a pair of tickets to the Orange Bowl game as well for FSU. So it's always reasons to subscribe and like the channel, but and become a member. The SEC and their unity, and this is what they were able to accomplish. So they have Alabama is in the college football playoff. But before that, it was going to be Alabama and Georgia were definitely there. They petitioned to make sure Missouri was there and Ole Miss. So they have 4 teams that are making, I think the numbers increased, but it used to be $15 million per team that's in the appearance. And what happens is the conference takes all the bowl money and everybody in the conference distributes it, gets a piece of it. But what Boo just did is the ACC had a chance to have a team in the college football playoff, which would be a New Year's 6. And then the loser of the ACC championship would be the automatic guy to go to, because somebody has to represent the ACC in the Orange Bowl. Because of your cowardice, and whether you want to blame Florida State for wanting to be out of the conference or not, this is why they want to do, because there is no loyalty in the conference. You just lost $15 million to be distributed among all the members. So you basically just cost every school $1 million. Because you, who is the chairman of the board, should have been screaming the loudest that this is bullshit. The first thing you should have done was, if this is what we're going to submit, I will step down effectively. Because you represent the ACC. And the ACC has somebody who's undefeated, and this is precedent that you just said. Nobody, you know, the last time an undefeated team was ranked lower than a one-loss team was in 2014 when they did it to Florida State the first time. And people are saying, is this payback for Florida State threatening to get out of the conference? This is called cutting off your nose to spite your face. You have effectively made the Atlantic Coast Conference a second-tier conference by doing this. You have not made anybody else want to come to the conference. You have not made anybody want to, like, so next year, your arguments don't even make sense. You can't say ACC plays as good a brand of ball as the SEC and the Big 12 when your goddamn commissioner of the college football playoff had an ACC team ready to come in and they voted against it. And you had Jim Grove, who was an ACC coach. It's about who you're willing to face and who you're afraid of. Nah, that ain't it. This is why people who feel like right now, every NFL fan feels justified for believing that the NFL is a better product than college football. Because in the NFL, it doesn't matter. Think about the San Francisco 49ers. Does the NFL not let the 49ers into the playoffs because they lose their starting quarterback? No, they went with Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. It damn near won a fucking Super Bowl. We just had another donation there, Miles. I can't read that. Or you know what? Yeah, I don't feel like unhooking it just in case somebody calls.
But they praised Michigan for not throwing the ball, but just ran the whole second half a few weeks ago. But it was a strong win and it wasn't a problem.
It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck them. That's basically what
Strong win and it wasn't a problem.
the committee keeps saying. It's cool when they do it. My bad. I had to pause that because I want to read these comments. And nah, it's in the community. If you subscribe, go to the community. It's not for just members.
Oh, really?
It's for anybody. It's up there for you in the YouTube community. Go check that. As long as you subscribe, you can see what's going on. You can see what's on the wall of Den Media Group. Call. Flourish, Queens, Kings and Queens. We over 200 people. We were 198 now, but Pretty No Girl puts people saying we need to prove ourselves by beating GA are delusional. I think we need, if it's the new mindset of the Florida State fan. We don't need to prove anything to anybody but ourselves, but we need to go whip ass because ass is there to whip. That's the new mindset. Fuck anybody and everybody that ain't us. It's actually, you know how we always joke about on the show, everybody has their villain origin story. This needs to be our what do they call it? Re-canon. So we had the Bobby years, right? Bobby was the Road Warriors. Anybody, anytime, anybody, any place, anywhere. And he still got shunned numerous times. But what we got to do is everybody who's in our face, we got to whoop their ass just because they're there. It's nothing personal. You're just in the fucking way. And that's the way you got to live your life in general. And then really start, like, I was telling somebody this. Me and my best friend Jamila, we were talking about this shit. Talking about one of her friends that didn't like me. She said I was arrogant. And I told her, I said, you know what? I was a little bit. I was confident, not arrogant, confident. And then my problem is when people say they don't like me, I don't give a fuck. But what I do is I give them, I don't want you not liking me for no reason. I think that's terrible. I want to fulfill whatever fantasy you have in your head of me. I want to help you not like me. And that's what Florida State has to do. To be honest with you, I want us to be undefeated. College Game Day is coming to Tallahassee, Florida to come see FSU Clemson. Fuck that. We don't want your ass. We decline the invite. No fly zone is what they used to call it in rap in the hood. Like, where this person can't come to your city. ESPN used to have the song, "We're coming to your city." Fuck that. No. Can't sit here. Can't come here. Honest God, true. Bowl game, Mike Alford, Mike Norvell, only people talking. Can't talk to our players. Nobody, like, we ain't the only people speaking is the person who has to speak and the head coach. This ain't got nothing to do with you, Curb. We like you, Curb. We respect you, Curb. But the reality of the situation is fuck y'all. We ain't got nothing to say to y'all. Y'all are the ops. That's what the young people say, right? Y'all the fucking ops. My guy Luke Northrop, shout out for the 99. James, you were there for me through the hurt this year. Would be remiss if I didn't return the favor. Your comparison between sports and life was spot on. Also, I hope people paid attention. You know what? I'd be mad if this happened to Miami. I'd be mad if this happened to I'd be mad if this happened to anybody because it just doesn't make sense. A lot of old people like to blame the kids for their mindset, right? The entitlements mindset. Kids are so entitled, but then we'll root this shit on right here. This is why the kids don't trust any of us. Because what we say we bout, and what we show we bout is not the same. I wouldn't trust any of y'all either. Boo is not an effective leader. But the problem is we have a leader with the nickname Boo. What self-respecting grown-ass man going around letting himself be called Boo, unless he's a scary-ass individual? Only Boo I know that's real is Eddie Boo Williams. But even him, like, that was a childhood nickname. Like, we ain't really going around just saying Boo. He just had an article written about him the other day. They said Eddie Williams. But this man going around with Boo like that's his first name. Don't trust this man no further than I could throw him. So I will say controversy sells. This will be talked about all off season. We will talk about it on different shows. And then this is the other thing, a call to order. All FSU media, mainstream or the reputables, and people who aren't. We got to have a call to action. Like, I need y'all to write about this shit the same way that y'all was writing about Bob Stoops ain't coming and clowning people. The same way y'all was doing the energy that y'all use for shit that don't matter. I need y'all to use that shit for something that actually does fucking matter. Need y'all to stand on something. Instead of looking like you're fucking handicapped. Stand up. Stoking the flame. I wonder how much Florida State making noise about wanting to be out of the ACC has an impact. It might. It might. But let's just use that logic. Again, I don't know who said stoking the flame. Stoking the flame, you got one of them fake memes, so I don't know if you're a man or a woman. So I want to just let you know we talk about shit like this. So if y'all new to this show, you're gonna be offended.
Unknown caller.
Now let's take this. We got Charleston, South Carolina. Hold on, we're gonna take this call before I address that. Hello, who's this? All right, hold on, Bert. You want to get on to talk about this? All right. What's going on, Bert? You got to turn it up, man.
Hey.
Oh, there we go. Go ahead, Bert. What you got?
So, how come they don't, how do they value the losses? For one, Texas had lost to a very mediocre Oklahoma team.
Very.
I'm sorry, but you shouldn't have lost to that Oklahoma team. Alabama lost by 10 points at home to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but you shouldn't have lost. I can see where we should have got in over either one of those teams.
You're right. Only in the NCAA or only on the college football committee do they value losses over wins. Again,
that's crazy.
I don't really have a good explanation because no man, or excuse me, I don't want to be considered a sexist. No right-standing, red-blooded, a fucking American adult should value losing. Only losers value losses. And that's what they did. But let me tell you, here's what it really is. And now that we know the unspoken truths are in the open, We got to make them stand on this now. We can't allow people to go back and say it no more now. We got to let these people stand on that shit.
Yes, sir.
You had to have an SEC team in it because you're bound by what the SEC does because that's your money cow. And you cannot let what are you going to show on the SEC network all season if no SEC team has the ability to win a championship? How you going to make money off of it?
Right.
Now you got Texas in there, and guess where Texas is joining? Who Texas is joining next year? The SEC.
SEC. That you're right. I didn't even think about that. That's why they had to put them in too.
Listen, man, don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. You feel like just like the worst part of this for a guy like me, and why I can't wrap my head around it. I don't like fake thugs and fake tough people. Tell me the truth. If you don't like me, tell me the truth. Don't go talk behind my back. Tell me you don't like me up to my face. And the problem is that we have accepted this shit for so long in so many aspects of life that now we got to make that outrage into something. We got former alum Corey Simon talking shit. Y'all need to add my guy, CSIM90. I think that's his name. CSIME 90 on Twitter. Add your congressman. Say, yo, we back that shit. Put some goddamn legislation up there, my guy. Oh, Lord.
Yes, sir. Hey, what, James,
What's up?
what they going to do? What they going to do? We beat Georgia and finished 14-0. It's going to look real weird, man.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They're going to say, oh, well, Georgia didn't have all their best players dressed. McConkey wasn't dressed.
Man, forget that,
but you know what? We just got to be like, we don't give a fuck about none of that shit. We got to whoop their ass, go 14-0, and then force the issue. It's saying, what other team you want to put in us? 3-0 against the SEC this year. What else you got to say? Because if we don't, because guess what's going to happen if we lose? You know what they're going to say if we lose? I don't say this is why they shouldn't have been in the championship anyway. So you got to, my mother used to tell me, she still to this day tells me, you know, when I feel like, my bad, I'm not going to keep you on here. I'm going to go on my rant a little bit more, but I appreciate the call. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right, Bubba, I appreciate you, James.
I told people, my mother, when I was a player, I had started all year. But they didn't change the stuff. And I was crying, war chant on the message boards, fucking hurt my little feelings. And that was my fault for reading. I went in that motherfucker, I read it. They said, we ain't going to run the ball. We got this undersized. Well, they didn't even realize I was 250 at that point. But I was listed at 220 on the chart.
Unknown caller.
Oh, shit. Hold on. Let me see this. Hold on 1 second. Hello, who's this? You trying to get on? All right, give me 1 second. Yeah, give me 1 second. All right, man, state your name. Go ahead and talk. I'll tell that story later. State your name. Go ahead, get it off your chest.
Yeah, my name Khalil Jackson.
All right, what's going on, Khalil?
Yeah, man, I'm watching you live. I had to turn it off so you won't be hearing the echo and stuff, man. I'm just lost about the football, man. Like, when we was young, James, I'm 28. I ain't going to be on your age, but I've been around football all my life.
Hold on, I'm just going to pause you real quick. You ain't got to make me feel like I'm a fucking dinosaur, right?
You know
I didn't play with leather helmets.
You know.
I did. Go ahead, man.
But nah, bro, you know, man, it's just, when we was raised up, James, what they crying about is relevant. Defense used to be winning championships back in the days, and that's what Florida State been giving people for the last couple of weeks, bro. So you crying about your offense not doing anything shouldn't matter. Long as you digging, don't be getting your points in and out, and your defense dominating, it shouldn't matter, bro. I feel like it's just biased. They just couldn't let Uncle Nick sit on that sideline, and that's it, bro.
That's basically it. Again, what we can't do is we can't allow. See what happens, and this is what so as a historian myself, a history major, like we have always we've seen it, right? We see the snake, and we got the snake. We can call the snake out. We can cut the head off the snake. We know what it is, but what we do is we get complacent and we let it go back. We know that this was to appease Nick. You got to have an SEC team in. We got to have an SEC team in. And then what happened is you can't let Bama in, and then they lost the head-to-head to Texas by 10 at home. All right, well, we got to do that. All right, who have we put up on the state that we can let? Well, we can sacrifice Florida State. At least we're going to get something out of this. Imagine this. They leave Washington.
And the sad
home, right?
thing
Imagine
is,
what happens if they leave Washington home.
Go ahead.
How many Washington fans you think gonna be around here crying and raising the fuss and boosting the ratings? They know what they
Man, people be
doing.
ready for basketball season.
You said what?
People be ready for basketball season.
Bro.
They wouldn't give a damn if they was in out there.
No, like they would have been it's just they know, but the problem is they know who to pick on. But what we got to do is we can't just talk. We can't just talk. We got to now this isn't
So
us. I'm not talking about us as fans.
I know you probably don't watch other podcasts, but the roll up, your boy AR, he played for Miami, and you had your boy Kenny. You know Kenny shot a great.
Yep.
Them boy was like, shoot, protest. They like y'all go through the whole media week. They like you finna do that. Then it's game time 30 minutes later. Say, hey man, we ain't coming out to this shit. Georgia and Florida State say, hey, we ain't coming out to this shit.
Nah, I don't agree with
I
that.
know they ain't gonna do that though.
Fuck that. I love Kenny to death. Mine, all due respect, you know, whatever, man. I ain't got nothing bad to say about him. Seems like a good guy. The other guy, you know, he is who he is. But the reality is this: we gonna beat Georgia ass. That's the goal, right? But we gonna still talk about the fact that y'all like disrespect can no longer be tolerated. At a certain point, you gotta be able to stand on
I'm gonna let you go, bro, because you know I ain't that type of old people. Do you feel like Mike should say more, or he handled it right?
I'm sorry. Hold on. Is the headset my? Or speak a little bit more because you a good caller. Now I mean, I wasn't saying you I was talking about the other. I want to make sure.
Nah, bro. Be honest, bro. I've been trying to get my little podcast thing right. I wrote you, but you know what I'm saying. I ain't gonna say you ain't writing back. You're a busy man, bro. So I ain't gonna.
My bad, dog. What you do now is because
you good, but I said, do you feel like Mike
out.
Norvell handled it right, or you feel like he could have gave it a little bit more on? Like y'all got us fucked up. Not saying he had to get unprofessional, but.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he was saying was true, but bro, your team went 13-0. You played for them people, bro. You wore that Gordon and gold, bro. So you know how much it meant. Do you feel like he gave it all, like, or the people just behind him, or you felt like he could have said a little bit more?
I think he's in a position where he's still a young coach there, so he don't have. But I think the way I would have loved for him to be like to go out there and plead his case. But I also can respect it. We beat what more do you want from us? We beat that. So what I think though is we got some wartime cats. And what I meant was like when I'm saying we can't let disrespect be tolerated, we got an athletic director in Mike Alford that's a bulldog. We got a president that's a bulldog. We got some bulldogs in other positions. We gotta go. Sometimes the coldest thing, like my mama used to tell people, you ain't gotta worry about my baby whooping your ass. You gotta worry about who my baby gonna send to whoop your ass. And so when you got real power, it ain't you. Don Corleone did. How many times you saw in the movie Godfather, Don Corleone actually kill somebody himself or fight somebody?
Yeah, them boys coming through.
He said the boy.
I'm a boss. I don't need to touch nothing.
That part. Bobby Bowden, I always tell people this. Bobby Bowden, one of the nicest men in the world, super Christian. Everybody thinks he's all shucks, but he has some of the bad. Mickey Andrews, Chuck Amata, all these other cats. You think them cats gonna follow a guy who pussy? Hell nah, man. Bobby was a cold-blooded gangster behind the scenes. But he knew I don't gotta come for
bro,
you.
Hey, James, I want you got the platform right now. I ain't there yet. You tell them motherfuckers, stop comparing TCU to Florida State. I don't want to hear that shit no more.
Don't want to hear. You know what's wild about that comparison? Who played in last year's national championship?
Exactly.
So when they say it, TCU whooped Michigan's ass.
The same team who ain't won that bitch in 3 years, they been in that mode.
And Michigan got their ass whooped by Georgia just as bad. So it's just something, again, people want to dislike Florida State because we're not supposed to be there. We came in that bitch, kicked the door down, whipped ass, and that's the mentality we got to have as a fan base going back and further. This is our villain origin story. Whoop everybody ass who comes in there and and take care of my business partner.
Hey, James, and I'm finna let you go, bro. This what your boy said the other day on TV, dog. I be teaching shit. Your boy said, if I was Mike Norvell right now before Fitz kick that field goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, if I was Mike Norvell, I would try to go for it, to run up the points for 5 points. I knew that shit was over the end, bro.
Dog, that's because again, It's a beauty contest. It's no longer about wins and
Mhm.
losses. It's about how you.
We up. We finna go up 10, bro. He talking about just kick, just go up and score. We going up 10. The game is secure. What we got to do all these style points for? That's what I knew it was fucked up then, bro.
That part, bro. That part.
But
man.
nah, bro, I appreciate you, bro, for letting me be on here. I'm gonna let you get back and do your thing.
Hey, hit me
I'm
up
gonna
on
write
my
you one
inbox.
more time and try to do a little something because I'm young. I'm hungry, and so just hopefully you write me back and we can chop it up, bro.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. Hit me up in my inbox and just and say, hey, I just chopped it up with you on the show. I'll see what I can do. I go
You
where
want
I'm
me to write
at.
you on Insta?
Huh?
Insta?
You said I'm on. Oh, Instagram. Yeah, hit me up on Instagram. That's fine. That's cool.
Okay, I got you, bro. Appreciate it, bro.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Damn, I forgot where we was going before I did that. That was good. Listen, man, I ain't that guy, man. I do get busy though, but if you got a podcast, I'll jump on somebody's podcast and make it hot. I wish people did that for me. That's the reason why I do it. Shit. Ugh. People say again, Mike Norvell's job is to coach football games, man. And like, I think that's the AD's job, and I think Mike Offer is his job to go out there and let it be known. Oh, all right. I'm gonna send you this text message, Miles. If you could send BMac the link. Oh, okay. With the StreamYard link. All right. Brian McFadden played cornerback at Florida State. Played 2-time Super Bowl champ. For the Pittsburgh Steelers. He a lot more elegant also and eloquent than I am. But yeah, I don't even know, bro. But oh yeah. So, anyways, long story short, man, yeah, fuck all that shit. My mama used to say, "Be so good they can't deny you." That is the mindset that you got to take. I'm coming out here. I'm gonna whoop ass. I'm gonna do whatever I can do, and you can't be so good they can't deny you. Now that wasn't Kenny Shaw. That wasn't Kenny Shaw. I would never disrespect. I hope I didn't come off disrespectful at all. It's only because I never want to unintentionally disrespect people. I think disrespect should be intentional. But Mike Alford has a statement. Let me see if I can find my guy. This is how I know being around Mike enough. You know how you know this white man about that? You ever had that feeling? You ever been around like we talked about it with Greg, right? White Tony, yeah. But with Greg was like one of those guys. It's gonna be real nice conversation, but man, but when we listen to like some of the things that he done, it was some savage ass shit. But with some niceness in it. It was like, damn. Like Greg really about their life. But we got some more videos and shit that we're going to, but I'm going to read this Mike Alford statement. The consequences of giving into a narrative of the moment are destructive, far-reaching, and permanent, not just for Florida State, but college football as a whole. The argument of whether a team is the most deserving or the best is a false equivalence. That's a big-time term. You can't use false equivalence. It renders the season up to yesterday irrelevant and significantly damages the legitimacy of college football playoff. The 2023 Florida State Seminoles are the epitome of a total team. To eliminate them from a chance to compete for a national championship is an unwarranted injustice that shows complete disregard and disrespect for their performance and accomplishments. It is unforgivable. The fact that this team has continued to close out victories in dominant fashion facing our current quarterback situation should have enhanced our situation to get a playoff berth earned on the field. Instead, the committee decided to elevate themselves and make history today by departing from what makes this sport great, by excluding an undefeated Power 5 conference champion for the first time since the advent of the BCS college football playoff era that began 25 years ago. This is ridiculous.
Unknown caller.
Let me go ahead and take another call. Y'all calling today. Hello? All right, you trying to get on the top? All right, hold on. All right, man. State your name. State your name and your claim.
Kenneth Holmes. And tell you people, I was surprised. I told my homeboy a month ago. I said, man, we're going to kill it. And we do 3 or 4 to the season. They're going to find a way to shoot in.
Mm-hmm.
All thing we got to do is beat Georgia. I say there's a national championship.
Hey, you know what? Again, like as I said earlier, the ESPN Coaches Bowl poll and the AP don't have to vote the college football playoff champion a national champion. They just have, but they don't have to. And I think us going out and beating Georgia, we make a strong case for us to be able to say we wasn't giving that shit. And I think if just like history was made by the college football playoff committee, I think history will be made. I think there's going to be some more fuckery. The fuckery ain't done yet. And I'm for the fucks. Like what once you get fucked, you got to be for the fuckery, right?
Thank you.
So I mean, we need, or as the people say, we got to be about the shits now. But again, Florida State's villain origin rebirth needs to come out. We need to be proud of what the fuck we did this year. Because again, not you, but I read some stuff where people giving that loser blood. Oh, well, the season was for naught. Nah, bitch, 13-0 is difficult. Like that's you earn that shit. But we need to get that 14-0 and keep whooping ass and earn it and just tell everybody in the path for the next 10 years, this ass don't take this ass whooping personally. If you want to know who gave you want to know why, you better go boo Corduroy or whatever the fuck that motherfucking name of NC State is, man. But nah, man, appreciate the call. You got anything else?
And tell you, I've been a Florida State fan since we were done. For the last 5 seasons, I feel like they ain't playing no heart. Last year, I said, man, they playing with heart. Like, yeah, I'm proud of them. 13-0, yeah, that's a 1-5 coming. Let's go with some dog games.
Bro, them boys play. I remember when I went out there, not this past spring, but the spring before, and I said, these boys are different. And then when I went out there again this past spring, I said, man, these boys, and I talked to them, these boys actually like each other. It's it's something there. I think we got B-Mac backstage, bro. But anyway, man, I got to get off right now. I got to take this important VIP right here. And I appreciate you.
All right, man. Appreciate you having me, man. Keep up the great work, man.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Oh my God, yeah, he's there. Okay. They got the jersey in the back. He's so fucking official, man. I'm so. I thought, okay, at least I thought he was gonna wear a suit. You know, B-Mac. That's ridiculous, man.
Yo.
Every time I see B-Mac wear a new suit, I'd be like, I gotta call my tailor and try to go get something else, man.
Yo.
What's going on? You can hear us?
Yeah, I got you. You got me good? How I sound?
You didn't sound good. You're like the people hearing you now. So just so you know, this is not FCC. Like, you know, you can say whatever you want. I don't want to. Don't let me though. You got a real job. And you do let us get you fired. But like but I'm here for you though. This is my guy,
man,
right here.
Let's rock and roll, man. You already know what time it is.
So for those who don't know, you have an FSU legend right here. One of the best cornerbacks to play at Florida State, 2-time Super Bowl winning champion for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Brian McFadden. If you don't know him, you can Google him, you can Instagram him, you can search him on TikTok, all that shit. He's there. So, and he's one of the best minds, I think, when it comes to speaking about football from a commentator's perspective. So, B-Mac, you said you had some, I can't wrap my mind around it, bro. Like, so I need you to help me understand what the hell I just witnessed.
Man, first and foremost, James, man, thank you for giving me an opportunity to jump on with you. Thank you for those kind words, man. I have a lot of respect for you, you know, not just a football player, but watching everything you've done up until this moment in your life, your career. So keep doing what you're doing. Of course, you know, we know, so we always going to be rocking and rolling together. But to answer your question, I can't make it make sense either. And this for us it hits different than a lot of college football fans because we played at Florida State, you know, and I tell people this all the time. You know, I was able to play in the National Football League. I played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know, throughout the majority of my career, played 1 year at Arizona. But those teams selected me. those organizations selected me.
Mhm.
When you, the other guys we played with before and after us, we chose Florida State, right? So with that being said, we have a different love for the school, the university, and the football team. So hearing the news that we all heard yesterday, it hits different. And the reason why it hits different is because we're emotionally invested in the program. The love we have for the program is well documented. And outside of that, it's outright wrong. So I've always felt like this new playoff standard in college football was wrong. I've always felt like it was flawed. I thought the BCS era was more right than what we currently have in place with the college football playoffs. And because of the reason I felt that way is because in BCS era, you know what you need to do. You can't lose.
Mhm.
You got to win out. And if you went out, you knew the likelihood of you competing for a championship, especially being a part of a Power 5, was highly likely, especially other things happen around you. In this scenario with the current way it's orchestrated, there's only 4 spots. We got 5 Power 5 conferences. That never made any sense to me. And I understand we're going to increase it to 12, which I don't like at all. I always felt like it should have been 5 or 6. So now you at least have a spot for a Power 5 champion, especially if they're deserving of having it. But that's neither here nor there. The issue with Florida State is solely you're telling me about Jordan Travis and him not being injured, and we know he is a big part of our team, but it's still the game has to be played. We don't know.
Mhm.
We don't know what will happen in any given Saturday. We don't know what will happen on any given Sunday. That's why football is the most watched sport in our country, because the narrative can change at any given time. You think you might know what will happen? You don't know. Last time I checked, the committee told me last week that Oregon is one of the 4 best teams in college football. That's why they were pretty much a 9-point favorite. The odd makers out in Vegas felt the same way as well. They were building up Oregon. Right now, Oregon is playing some of the best football in college football. They have one of the best quarterbacks. This is a team that we believe will be in the playoffs when it's all said and done. What happened last Friday night in Vegas? Right? The game has to be played. And I understand you're telling us, well, Florida State is not the same team without Jordan Travis. That is true, but that doesn't mean they cannot win significant ball games. That doesn't mean that they cannot get into a playoffs and cause a lot of havoc. Because I, for one, was a part of a team in the NFL that many people felt like we weren't deserving of being in the playoffs. That many people felt like, this team ain't good enough. So why are they in? My rookie year, we lost 3 straight ball games during the regular season. It's hard to do that and get into the playoffs. But guess what? We found a way to get in the playoffs. We were the 6th seed, barely getting in the playoffs. All the experts, all the analysts were saying, Pittsburgh, they shouldn't even be in the playoffs. I'm so happy, James, we have a committee to decide who should get in, who should get out. Because guess what? They probably would have done to us with a second-year quarterback. Oh, they're not one of the 6 best teams in the AFC. They shouldn't get in. But we got in. We played the game. You know what happened? Won a Super Bowl. Heck, my second Super Bowl 3 years after the fact, when I won my first one, we played against the Arizona Cardinals team that barely won 9 games, and they got into the playoffs because they played in a horrible division, and everybody said the same thing about the Cardinals, similar to what they said about my 05 Pittsburgh Steelers team. Guess what? Arizona made it all the way to the Super Bowl, almost defeated us. So at the end of the day, football is a game that has to be played. Injuries can definitely dictate or determine some things, but you still have to play the game. It takes 11 guys to be on the same page to be able to orchestrate and execute plays that can put you in positions to win ball games. And until that happens, we don't know. Miss me with this whole TCU narrative. Miss me with no. We're different.
I got a question with that.
Yeah.
The TCU narrative, because that's when people say that, that's meant to be a shot, right?
Yeah,
But
because of what happened with TCU in the national championship game against Georgia.
But TCU had to beat Michigan
and
in order
to
get there,
and
right?
they did.
And
they
then
did.
that same Michigan team the year before that, didn't they get destroyed by Georgia in the first round?
Every year in the postseason, bowl season or postseason play, Michigan has been destroyed. They haven't won a bowl game since 2016. Michigan has been in the playoffs the last 3 years. The last 3 years that Michigan has been in the playoffs, they've been embarrassed. The most competitive game we saw from Michigan was last year against TCU. But heck, TCU scored, almost 50 points, if I'm not mistaken. They couldn't stop them.
Mm-hmm.
But Michigan was, quote unquote, one of the more dominant teams in college football the last 3 years. What do they have to show for it? And for us, this TCU narrative, and they played against Georgia. One thing I know about college football, and I'm not saying this because I played at Florida State, we got different dudes than TCU.
Yes.
We got different dudes, bro. Like, we got pros. And I understand. And I said this too, JC. When Jordan Travis went down, I said, you know what? We can still weather the storm because we got pros. We got guys that will play on Sunday. We got 2 bona fide first rounders for sure. 2 guys that probably will be selected in the first round in the top 15 picks. Then you got another 8 to 10 guys that are draftable, that will be draftable guys, either seniors or underclassmen that will continue to progress to be drafted guys. We got more talent than TCU. Our talent, when you factor in the production and the consistency in all of college football, we're top 3 or top 4 in regards to NFL prospects. So what are you telling me? Yeah, we don't have a quarterback, but we still can be relevant. Yes, for the eye test, and football is not about eye test. Mike Thompson tells us all the time, there's no such thing in style. There's no such thing in style points when winning ball games. Win. Now, granted, for the committee, I guess you need style points. You got to look pretty, right? But for me, we played against Florida. We covered the spread. We played against Louisville. They knocked the spread all the way down to 1-2. We covered that easily. So you saying, yeah, we struggle. Yeah, we struggle. It's going to take time. I didn't expect to see the best out of Tate Rodemaker when he sat the entire season. I didn't expect to see.
I say on that show, B-Mac, all the time. It's the reason ones are ones, and it's the reason twos are twos.
Yes, I never expected Brock Glenn to go out and look like He-Man against Louisville. I knew it would be struggles. So you're telling me we're knocked because of our injured quarterback, and we didn't look as good as they wanted us to look, but we won and we covered the spread. But then you're not penalizing Alabama for barely beating a bad Auburn team with all of their starters. They needed a miracle from sweet baby Jesus, to beat a bad Auburn team. Auburn is bad, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn ain't got no quarterback.
They also only beat Arkansas by 3 points, and Arkansas is very bad.
Man, they barely beat Arkansas. They beat Arkansas by 3 points. They barely beat Texas A&M. I think they beat them by 6. They barely beat Auburn by 3. Those 3 teams combined for a record of 17-19.
South Florida, South Florida was hanging with them until the fourth quarter. The crazy part is every knock and critique that they use for Florida State, there isn't a team. All 4 teams above them have just as bad of things on them, except for 2 of those guys have 1 loss. The only undefeated team is out of that.
Washington barely beat Washington State. We saw Texas struggle against Houston. Texas lost to Oklahoma. Texas need to be thankful they didn't play against Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship, because Oklahoma probably would have beat Texas, by the way. So I feel like for me, the committee, and this is the issue that I have a lot of people, when they admit that it's flawed and it's wrong, stop defending it. When you sit here and say, yeah, it's wrong for Florida State, that's it. I don't need to hear nothing else. Don't defend what the committee did, especially when you're admitting that it's wrong. And now you're giving us excuses to why you think Florida State shouldn't be in. It's the game of football. If any of us knew anything about who will win and lose a ball game, all of us would be in a better position. We don't know. You got to play the game. You have to play the game. Most experts felt like Oregon was going to easily take care of Washington. The odd makers, Vegas, they had a 9-point favorite against Washington. But you play the game. James, you know about this. When you play football game, the course of a game can change dramatically in the blink of an eye. A turnover.
Mm-hmm.
The unthinkable happened. Getting off to a fast start. Return kick on special teams. Anything can happen. And I feel like if Florida State was in the top 4, our defense would be one of the best defenses in the playoffs. Our wide receiver unit would be the best in the playoffs. Our running backs, not back, our running backs would be the best in the playoffs. In totality, I would say our defense would be the best in the playoffs. And you can hit me with Michigan defense. Man, Michigan ain't playing against nobody. They're playing against Rutgers, Indiana, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Northwestern. The Big Ten is about 2 teams, and they got a stepsister in Penn State. That's it. Michigan's out-of-conference schedule was who? That's why every year we see the same thing happen with Michigan. They look good, dominant in the regular season because they're playing against nobody. And then when they get into playoffs, when they're playing against good and good, what happens?
They struggle. No, they lose.
Like the last 3 years, we've been seeing this with Michigan. The Big Ten has been bad, bro. The Big Ten has been about 2 teams for such a long time. Illinois, last year they were relevant and won a few ball games, but they ain't got the dudes to keep up with Michigan. They ain't got the dudes to keep up with Ohio State. And we know Penn State. Penn State is who Penn State is. Penn State gonna look good against everybody except Ohio State, Michigan. That's who they are. So I feel like it's and it sucks for the players, the seniors. Think about that, James. Like, come on, bro. In every level of football, you're taught when you win all your games, you will have an opportunity to compete for a championship when you're undefeated. When you're undefeated. Now, if you're telling me you're undefeated and you play in the Sun Belt, I can take that because weekly you're not playing against some of the high-level talented teams weekly. You're telling me you're undefeated and you play in the AAC, I accept that. Or the Mountain West, I can accept that. I can accept that, James. All right, I respect that. Because, yeah, every week we ain't playing against some dudes. But you're telling me we're undefeated in the ACC on a national stage. We took care of LSU. We took care of we go to Clemson. At that time, I think they were still ranked. We took care of Clemson. We took care of Duke at that time. They were ranked. We took care of Louisville, who was top 15, had a top 10 offense, scoring offense or something like that, held them to 6 points, whatever the case may be. And no, by the way, the SEC best non-conference win came against Louisville. A lot of people don't know that. Like the SEC best non-conference win, because LSU ain't beat Florida State. Florida ain't beat Florida State. So the best SEC non-conference win happened when Kentucky beat Louisville. So it's tough. It is what it is, man. It's the thing about life sometimes, right? It doesn't always go as planned, but you got to be able to pivot and adjust.
That's why I started the show off with, and I was telling people one thing learned about doing sports management is the one thing they taught us first class was sports is a microcosm of society. I told people like some of the fan base don't know what this feels like, and I'm like, hey, I'll tell you guys exactly what this feels like. Some of us get taught these things, but you don't get a chance to fold. You don't get a chance to cower. You don't get a chance to cry about it. You got to be excellent because excellent is what you got to do. You got to keep going out there. You got to keep fighting. What is your thought process, and what would you tell the fan base? Where do we go from here?
It's okay to express your emotions, because you have to understand that it is wrong, but at some point in time, we gotta find the positive in this, I think. And if you are expressing your emotions, don't do so in a selfish way. Do so in a way where you're thinking about the players. Do so in a way when you're thinking about the people who actually put forth the effort to become undefeated. Don't make this about you if you're expressing your disappointment. Make this about the guys who went weekly to give it their all for all of us to cheer for. That's why I'm so hot. I'm hot because I know, James, you know how it was to be in that locker room. We never went undefeated, but we know how hard it is to go undefeated. We know how hard it is to have an opportunity to compete for a championship. They did what they were supposed to do. The number one goal I'm willing to bet for the team this season when they came together in the summertime was to do what? Go undefeated. That was probably the number one goal. And heck, that's the number one goal for every team, I would imagine, to go undefeated. Win your conference, go undefeated, win your conference, get into the playoffs. So you're telling me, yeah, we did that, We achieved all of our goals. We took care of our state rivals. We played all of our games. We won every game. We played for our conference title. We won that, and we still don't get a chance to go to the playoffs when it's a 14 playoffs. And you're telling me that two teams that actually lost, didn't go undefeated, got opportunity to go in the playoffs because we didn't. No, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. And I can care less about you're your quarterback and you didn't look good. You still won. And at the end of the day, the final thing I'll say about this is all about money. College football is solely about money. That's the issue. When you look at the teams that made it, you got 3 blue blood football programs, 4 teams that have quarterback notoriety. That if you've been watching college football, you know all the quarterbacks that are in this ball game. Even though they all might not be elite-like guys, they ring a bell. So for us, it's not like we're not a blue blood program, but the other schools have a little something more that can push the narrative when it comes to dollar signs. Because most people don't know who Tate Rodemaker is. I mean, why would you really know who Tate Rodemaker is unless you're a Florida State fan because he hasn't played? But casual football fans know who Jalen Milroe is. Casual football, college football fans know who Michael Penix Jr. is. Casual football fans know who Quinn Ewers is. I mean, coming out of high school, I mean, the guy made headlines, went to Ohio State, got them for NIL money and then transfer. And J.J. McCarthy, who's been around college for such a long time. So that's what it boils down to. You can sit here and say, well, we don't think they're one of the 4 best teams. And you actually might believe that, but you don't know. You don't know what would happen. And I know when you talk about playing football, you don't know because the game has to be played. It's not a one-man competition. It's 11 guys that got to be on the same page. And like I will continue to emphasize this. When you look at all the teams that's currently in the top 4, our wide receiver unit would be up there with the best. Maybe Washington, you can throw their wide receiver core in there. But our running backs,
better.
I mean, our defense in totality on all 3 levels, the numbers, I know you would, statistically speaking, you got Michigan in there because, I mean, Michigan, like Michigan ain't playing. Come on. They play against
I asked
Iowa.
somebody the other day, who has Michigan played? Like outside of Ohio State, who has Michigan really played?
Well, you know, you got Penn State, so let's throw those 2 teams. But then you got Maryland, you got Rutgers. They struggled against Rutgers. They struggled against Maryland, by the way.
Yep.
You know, Indiana. Did they play Northwestern this year? I don't know. But the Big Ten is not good in totality. That's the thing. So for me, that's I felt like our team could match up well. And yes, in the words of the quarterback, because we lack experience, we don't have our number 1 guy. Yes, all the other teams would be a notch above us when it comes to the quarterback play. But everything else, we're right there. So if you're telling me, and that's why I say miss me with that TCU narrative. TCU ain't got the pros that we got. They don't have the quantity of guys that will be playing on Sunday that we have. We got the best edge rusher in college football, one of the best wide receivers in college football. We got a physical nightmare of a matchup in college football, Johnny Wilson. Like, we got to do it all, Debo Samuel at the tight end position and Bell. I mean, we got guys, bro. We got guys who've been around college football a long time. So you telling me those guys, even with our backup quarterback, won't fight? Because those guys are going to play on Sunday. Look at our defense, man. Look at Fisk. Man, we got guys, man. Deloach, Bethune, Green, Dent.
With 4 weeks to prepare.
With 4 weeks to prepare. So you telling me with 4 weeks to prepare, Tate Rodemaker won't be in a better situation, will be more in tune with the offense, the confidence, getting first team reps in 4 weeks of play, getting ready? Like, this team is talented, bro. This team has been put together strategically in a way for them to be successful. We got speed, we got power, we got strength, we got athleticism. So it's a tough pill to swallow. And, you know, the leadership we have with Coach Norvell, you know, they're going to do a great job in keeping everyone together and get ready for this Orange Bowl. And the Orange Bowl actually won because the Orange Bowl got Florida State and Georgia. I'm willing to bet right now, outside of the Rose Bowl, there won't be another postseason game that have more viewership than what we gonna have in the Orange Bowl.
Mhm.
And I don't even know if all of the starters will play for both teams when you talk about guys that are draft eligible guys. But just the name alone, the Orange Bowl is going to do numbers because you got Florida State and Georgia. I would have felt more satisfying if Georgia got into the playoffs than Alabama. And Texas. Me personally, but man, it is what it is, man. We just, like I said, one thing I would ask of the fan base, you know, when you're voicing your disappointment, do so in a selfless way. Do so in regards to the guys who actually went to war week in and week out, who we cheered for, and the coaches, you know, who put so much time and effort in assembling this team and coaching this team the right way. And, you know, we're going to be all right. I always felt like this was going to be a pivotal year for our program because this was going to be a glimpse of what we will see moving forward.
One of the things that I tell people all the time is Florida State's probably one of the worst programs to go and not win and not be remembered. One thing we can say is that this team will always be remembered, ironically, unfortunately, for the snub, but for how they played and just even the guys that you mentioned, as well as being able to partake in this. And there's so much talent on this, and it does hurt as a former player. Because you obviously we won the ACC championship rings, and you got a chance to play in those. So I'm glad that they got to achieve that. But interesting moment because I was there at the championship game, and I was on the sideline. I was walking by, and I saw Janoris Robinson, Devontae Jackson, I think that's his name, and then Joshua's son. He played linebacker, but they were like, "What's up, OG? We some young players. We this." I'm like, "Oh man, y'all! I know y'all. I remember who you guys were." And just getting a chance to celebrate with those guys. I don't think people understand how much of I get asked all the time, why didn't I join a frat? And I tell people I was in the largest frat on Florida State's campus. Like I was with my brothers, I was with my football guys. And when I talk with people, say we don't have to talk on the phone every day, but when we all get together, it's going to be a lot of loud talking, a lot of stories being told. And then when kids come to me and say, I want to play at Florida State, I look at them the way that some of my friends who are in frats, well, hold on, man. What you got? Like we're such ambassadors of the program that we don't, just because somebody says you good, I don't know if you can play there. Like everybody good that comes here, but you got to have a certain mentality to be able to do that. And for one of the first times since Jimbo left, or and definitely since Bobby, we saw a team that embodied a lot of those old principles that Florida State stood on. Even the defense gave up some points, but I mean, Fuller's defense was like it looked like when you guys was out there, man. Like them boys was nasty, sharp, getting after it. And I told them the offense put them. I said, I remember we put y'all in some very precarious situations back in 2003. I remember that. We had a really good team that year. But the defense battled back, got themselves out of it, man. So I like what you said about the fan base. The charge to the fan base is be upset, but make sure we still support the guys who got us to this position. Them young men who are on that field, man. So
because one thing about fans, you would never be more invested than the actual players. We got to remember that. You will never feel as bad as the actual players. And I love how authentic and loyal our fan base is. But just remember, the way you feel, those players feel 10 times worse because they actually were working. They were the one who were playing. So when you voice your disappointment, when you voice your hurt, do so in a selfless way. That's not all about you. Do so in a way where you still supporting these guys that gave us a undefeated season. ACC champions, a team that finished top 5 in all of college football, a team that still has an opportunity to add one more win to their resume. And unfortunately, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it, to my knowledge, in being snubbed. All we can do is utilize this uncomfortable experience and find a positive in it by any means necessary. And for the guys who still a part of the team, I mean, I know you guys heard it. But that's just a part of life. This is an intro, nice intro into life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Coach Andrew used to tell
definitely.
us all the time. Hey, Coach Andrew used to tell us all the time, you know, man, you can't live soft and fight hard. And he used to always say that. I'm like, dang, Coach Eddie, man. But you can't live soft and fight hard because you will go through things that if you're not tough enough, if you're not hard enough, it's going to crack. It's going to break you. And you know, being under Coach Andrews, his coaching style, if you were one of the weaker ones mentally and physically, you ain't going to get through it. But also, too, that was one of the best intros I got into life. Because there are going to be a lot of things that you think should go this way and they don't. But you can't allow that to stand in front of you. You know, one thing I know about fear.
Did you hear somebody ask, Demetrius Shaw asked, how do you feel about what Dan Orlowski said? I didn't see. Did you see what Dan said, or are you aware?
I've been watching a little bit of what he said from yesterday. It's more about him defending the committee and their decision, but he also admitted it's wrong, it's flawed, and that's all I need to hear. That's what I said earlier, you know, with us talking, James. If you know it's wrong, don't defend it. That's the thing. I think for us as Florida State fans, being a part of the team, the organization, when we are hearing people defending the decision, that's what annoys me more. Like if you sit here and tell me, oh yeah, that's messed up, that's effed up, bro, that's wrong. But I don't know, it's wrong. That's it. No, it's just wrong. Don't defend what they did. We know it's wrong, and whatever you're defending is not right. It doesn't make any sense. The committee basically took the 4 teams who they thought were the best, who they thought. That's the thing. They thought this. It wasn't like they went from state to state and they were just selecting random people. It was 13 people, 14 people, I can't remember the exact number, who came together and watched games together and said, okay, we think this team is best. And they also, the week before, thought Oregon was a better team. And luckily enough for Washington, they actually had to play that game. Because if they didn't play that game, they felt like based on what Washington was doing, what Oregon was doing towards the latter part of the season, they felt like Oregon was a better team. Remember, Washington struggled against Washington State. You know, Washington had some games where they weren't looking as good as they were earlier in the year. So that kind of catapulted Oregon's in regards to the committee eyes to being a better team without playing Washington. But guess what? When they played, Washington prevailed. So I'm so happy, like in the NFL, there's not a group of individuals that are formed to say, well, this record is this record for this team, but we think this team is better based on how we look at them play the last few weeks compared to what we've seen from this team the last week. Oh, yeah, and this team got a few injuries, but they're still winning. But we think, even though this team has the worst record, the lesser of the record than this team, but we think that team is better. That's basically what they did. That's basically what they did. And how do you think that's right? You gotta be plumb dumb if you think that's right. Like that's fair. Like, no, the committee, they ain't out there going to war. They ain't out there fighting. They ain't out there in the trenches with these players. They don't know how difficult it is for a coaching staff to go through an injury and say, you know what, we got to get a guy ready who might not be ready, but we got to get him ready. Ready enough to win. And I know one thing, we covered the spread against Georgia. Florida. Man, I'm already speaking something into existence. We covered the spread against Florida and Louisville. And a wise man always told me, he said, good team win, great teams cover the spread. That's what a wise man told me. He said, good teams win ball games, but great teams, they cover.
And I'm with you. I think you hit the nail on the head, and that's the hard part. Don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. Just all I need to hear is that, man, you know what, that sucks. All the other stuff is just because football's not played on paper. If football was played on paper, if Texas or Alabama somehow comes out of this, I'm gonna call them the paper mache champs. Because that's what it was given to them. Like, you can't take it. They won it. They went through the playoff, but like, you didn't get a chance to play the four. Like, it's about, or I think you brought it up too. If we got 5 Power Fives, it should be 5 automatic entries and an at large at minimum.
Yep. Yeah, that's how it should
That
have
would
been
have
from
always
jump.
been able to make it somewhat legitimate.
Yeah. And if you have a
But-
Power 5 team that doesn't get in because they have too many losses on their record, even though they won their conference, then so be it. And my thing is this for people who say, well, what argument are you going to say if they decided to leave out Alabama, if the committee decided to leave out Texas? Well, the argument would be you should have won all your games. You had the same opportunity. You had the
Like,
same
I'll take
opportunity. If you
I'll
win,
take the arguments against Florida State, right? I'll take those. I have no problem with that. The problem is those are the arguments for Texas, Alabama, but there's one difference. They have one loss.
they got a
Florida
loss.
State has no losses.
I've never seen a situation at the end of the season where two teams jump so far up after one win and both having losses. Texas and Alabama right behind each other. They were 7 and 8. They jumped from 7 and 8 to 3 and 4. I never seen Georgia being number 1 drop out of the top 4 after a loss. They jumped from 1 to 6. Think about that.
Have we seen a team beat a top 15 opponent and then fall?
Conference on championship Saturday, not to my knowledge. There's
Like,
a
and
lot
that's
of,
what
there's a
you're-
lot of
Texas
firsts
jump.
that happen.
Texas jumps by beating an unranked Oklahoma State
Oh.
team, if I remember correctly.
And Oklahoma State, correct me if I'm
Who
wrong.
lost to UCF.
They lost to UCF. They lost at home to South Alabama, right?
Yeah.
They got some bad losses. They got some bad losses. And they talking they blew out Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State wasn't good.
You were supposed to blow them out.
They're supposed to. They got Ollie, the running back outside. They have nothing. They lost to UCF. No disrespect to our Knights that are watching us, but they lost to UCF, right? Did they lose to South Alabama at home? I think they did. They got a few losses. So how's Texas rewarded for beating a bad Oklahoma State team that had no business playing in a conference championship game, but because of things in the Big 12, they got in?
Or
Like,
even better, can you explain this? This is what I said this earlier in the show. So I'm going to take fine Florida State injury to the quarterback. They're not one of the best for it. Fine. Let's say I agree with that premise.
yeah, hold
Because they lost their
on.
quarterback.
Before you make your point, Oklahoma State lost to South Alabama at home, 33-7 in week 3. Then they lost to Iowa State, 34-27. They won on a winning streak. They lost to UCF, 45-3.
Jeez.
And they needed double overtime the week before Texas to beat BYU 40-34. So they lost to South Alabama, Iowa State, and UCF. What is Iowa State's record? Iowa State ain't got no good. Iowa State got what, five losses? No, long story short, how's Texas being rewarded for blowing out a team who lost to South Alabama at home? 39 to it wasn't even close. 33-7. The Jaguars.
And these are the people. These are the people. This is the win that launched them into their opportunity to. I'm sorry, bro. The only thing that I can really, outside of, again, what I was saying is, if Jay Trav is that important, which he was a very important piece. How does that launch? Why are we 5th? Like, wouldn't be probably be more respectable? We should be like the 7th or 8th. How are we 5th, ranked right ahead of Georgia, who has all of their starting pieces? If it was that important and that we were that bad, shouldn't Florida State be ranked below Georgia? The problem is just I guess I don't know, but one could use deductive reasoning that you wanted to put Bama in and you knew you wouldn't have been able to justify putting Bama in without putting Texas in. And you brought and Washington, as I said earlier, I think we said, well, nobody gives a damn if Washington didn't make it. Like, you wouldn't get the outrage.
Mm-hmm.
Washington's not used to being in this position. So what you did was you created controversy in the best way that you can make it happen. And now you have news, all of this. Oh man, I've again, it sucks that you earned something. Like they don't deserve anything. Deserve is an entitlement word. They earned this.
They earn
and
it.
That's the part that stinks.
That's the thing that I don't. You keep talking about. Well, is it the 4 best deserving teams or the 4 best teams? It's the teams that earn it. You earn it right. You know what you're supposed to do. If you don't have no argument, win all your ball games. Texas, if you felt like, well, we should have got in. Well, you lost to Oklahoma. You lost to Oklahoma. Alabama, you lost to Texas at home. Like, win all your games. If you win all your games, you have nothing to complain about. That's what we thought. But also, too, you got to win all your games and you can't have an injury, because even if you have an injury and you still win the games after the injured player is not playing, we don't think that's good enough. Like I said, a committee that watched TV from afar, watched games from afar, felt like, well, we don't think that team could compete with those teams without their quarterback. So we are not going to put them in. Oh, they never saw Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady, huh? They never saw that. Interesting.
My question is, injuries happen all the time. Some of the craziest injuries I've ever seen were non-contact injuries. I remember we had a teammate. He was walking to practice and he blew his Achilles. So what happens during this stretch if, I don't know, JJ McCarthy goes home and he gets in the car wreck? Is now Michigan, we need to replace these teams because he doesn't have his quarterback?
Michigan
football is a violent game. And again, it's supposed to be played on the field, man. I don't like when people, my biggest gripe on this, and what really, every time I feel good about it, I go back to thinking that these guys played this off the field. And I just can't stomach it. But man, we could go on about this all day, man. But I think the people did need to hear this, and I really do appreciate you coming in again. Like I said, way more elegance. He's more elegant also, but more eloquent and intelligent than I am. So I'm glad B-Mac came on here. It broke it down for us, man. Again, it's just it's sad, but it'll be sadder if nothing comes out of this. I will say that. If we go out there and we just lay down and don't go out there and compete, and then our guys in our back office, the people who should be handling this, don't handle this, then that would make it more. But the biggest thing is your outrage is warranted. You should be upset, but now what do we do now? And what we have to do is continue to support these young men, continue to be known, continue to back the program, because if what we all feel, and as I tell a lot of people, like I was never not on the Norvell train. I was on the train of we better win. If we're willing to make the moves that we made, that's cool. But we didn't make those moves to go 3-6. We didn't make those moves to go 5-7. But you can see a clear path and you can see a plan. And the coaching staff is A1, as well as the guys that they're bringing around. So this is going to be something that we're going to be around. And as I've said before, let this be the villain arc. We got to go out there and start beating people, beating ass and taking names just because they're in the way. Leave no doubt. So my mom says, be so good they can't deny you. That's one of my life mantras. So
yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, keep supporting the guys, man. I know it's a difficult time. It's going to hurt for quite some time, especially once the bowl season, postseason starts, because you will always feel
brother,
like we're supposed to be there.
Anything you got going that we can support, that we can get as a known nation?
Oh man, yeah, I got my podcast, All Things Covered, with my cousin Patrick Peterson. I'm doing college NFL work on CBS Sports HQ. And just social media handle name is the same for all platforms, BMAC_sports talk. And keep supporting the guys, man. That's it. I know you're gonna have something cooking for the Orange Bowl, so man, keep me up to speed on everything you're thinking about putting together. To go. I would imagine are you going to the Orange Bowl?
Yeah, right now, if I get credentialed, I'm definitely going to be down there. My plan is to go down there. My son was heartbroken. He's big. My son's probably the biggest FSU fan out there right now. But if I get credentialed, then I'm going to send him down with his uncle. They'll go watch the game with my tickets. If not, we'll go spend time. But, I'm with the Gator Bowl. I work with the Gator Bowl now. So we have our game on the 29th at noon. So guys who are listening to this channel, if you would like to win tickets, You know, anything I do, guys, you know, is big. So you'll get some tickets. You'll get the sweet access to the all you can eat buffet with seafood and a whole bunch of other good stuff and some parking passes. We'll have that, and there's some things I have to do with the Gator Bowl, and then we'll fly out on that next day down there. So, and I got to talk with CJ. We may go ahead and if CJ wants to throw a tailgate, I'll put the plans in motion for us to be able to throw one. But as with all of us, were kind of was taken aback because I was planning on going to New Orleans to throw a tailgate as opposed to this. But hey, also, bro, we got to get you like when in Vegas now. You don't be doing all that work, man. You was working when we was in Phoenix, man. It seemed like you was on doing a damn. You was working your ass off during the Super Bowl, man.
No question.
Got to relax and have a little fun too.
No question. I got to try to find a way to mix it in a little bit. Yeah, they had me moving and shaking a lot in Arizona, but you know, Vegas, man, it's got to be a different story.
Yeah. But man, but I appreciate you coming on and jumping on, brother. I gotta my producers over here getting mad because I told them we gotta extend this a little bit. B-Mac said he wants to jump on. We're gonna make an exception for B-Mac, and then I just got off the plane. I literally just got back from Charlotte and was like, I'm going to the lab. Let's go talk.
Yeah. No question.
Let's go talk our trash.
Yes,
but
sir.
Appreciate you, bro. I'll talk to you later, man.
Yes, sir. Take care.
That's Brian McFadden again, no greats. NFL legend, and again has All Things Covered podcasts. Check them out on CBS HQ. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, there's nothing else to be able to say about it. I'll tell you the same thing that coaches tell players all the time. Let's invoke a 48. Let's never forget. We'll never forget this. Let's invoke a 48-hour rule. We'll go 48 hours from today. And then after that, we only respond to people who are trolling, but we are badasses. We are one of the best teams in the nation, and unfortunately, our opportunity got taken from us. But again, we have to figure out how we are going to move forward from this and let this be the catalyst in the movement point of where we go for it. I always say to support the guys. If you can get to the Orange Bowl, go to the Orange Bowl, regardless of who's opting out, who's not opting out. Support it because we need to let the next generation see that this is what we do for our players. We support no matter. So yeah, man. Again, it's still a tough thing to digest. I think I gotta make sure. Thank you, Hunter Glom. I think that's how you say your name, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. I think we had about 280 at one point. Hopefully we'll have that many people have liked it, and hopefully you're subscribed. I'll probably have I'll try to have another BS because there's a lot of news outside of this. It actually was a really good weekend, like a football, so I don't really know what else to tell everybody, but I'll be on. Check me out tonight. I have Jags coverage. So we have Monday Night Football. So I'll be on at 7 p.m. on First Coast News, and then I'll be doing the post-game report. Hopefully the Jags will go ahead. I think this will be win number 9. Right now in the NFL, you get 10 and you're in, basically. So they're on track to making playoffs. So this has been one of the busiest, one of the most blessed football seasons I've ever had in media. Mandarin Mustangs, the high school team I coach, we play in the state championship this Friday at 3 p.m. If you're in Tallahassee, please come out, show up, and support Mandarin. I would love to see you guys there. I just thought about that. We may have to do BS on Thursday or Saturday because I'll be in Tallahassee all day Friday. So, but please check us out. Support that there. FSU undefeated regular season. I'm going into the postseason, and then the Jaguars looking like they're going to be in playoff contention. And again, the show is growing, everything's growing. Appreciate everybody for all of the support. Outside of that, man, appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me, and we will see you guys next time.